Welcome, everybody, to this week's episode of the Chicago Business Review. I am Young Lee, and I am so excited for this week's guest. He is an accomplished DJ, winning DJ of the Year awards all the time. He is also the DJ for the Bulls, the White Sox, the U.S. national soccer team, and so much more. I know him as Sam. Some of you know him as Vince. Everyone knows him as the dopest DJ on the planet. Welcome in, DJ Flipside.
Yay!
What's up, my man? Hey. Thanks for
What's
being
up?
on, man. I've been so excited for this episode. I can't even tell you. So, for you guys that don't know, me and Vince or me and DJ Flipside go back way back since we were
Way
short.
back.
Yes. And I've been seeing him like come up through the scene, DJ in all the clubs in the city of Chicago. And now this man is doing it all. So just as a getting started, Flipside, can you share with us kind of what you're doing now and what's going on in your life?
Hold up. Before I do that, let's talk about how we used to go to U of I back in the day and play basketball in the backyard, in the courts, and I used to hang out in your apartment way back in the day. Like we have history, so we gotta, just briefly talk about how we used to hang out all the time when we were in high school and stuff like that too. So we go
sure.
way back. So
That's what I'm saying.
That.
That's why I was like, you know what? If I'm having a podcast, I have to have Vince on this one, man. I used to go over to your house, raid your fridge. We'd play soccer in your basement. Man, this dude would make me mixtapes from the tape decks.
Yes.
And would be crushing it. And then I was like, oh man, this guy has definitely got what it takes to make it. And I'm so proud of you now, man. You are crushing it.
Thank you. So I didn't want to just blow over the part that we have history. And
that's right.
You are the homie from way back in the day too. So
my brother.
We go way back. So yes, just want to say congratulations to you. Happy to get this podcast started with you. And you were asking what was your
Yeah, man. No, I appreciate you giving me the love. So I was asking you, you're doing so much, you've accomplished so much, but like, what does a typical day, a typical week look like for you now? Maybe not just quarantine time, but recently, what you've been up to.
Yeah, well, I mean, we can talk about the quarantine time. We can talk about even now, like, because it's pretty similar because of quarantine. I've had to change a lot of what I normally do. As a DJ, part of life is playing in a crowd, and there's just no more crowds. DJing for the Chicago Bulls, the Bulls season was like kaput for a while, and obviously a little bit more because of COVID, not just because of our record.
Yeah. Don't remind me, my man.
But one of the greatest things about working for a company like the Chicago Bulls is they ended up paying out all their staff for the rest of the season. So that was like really, really cool to work for an organization that would actually take care of their employees like that. So luckily I got paid for the rest of the season, but now I have to take a step back. I'm not DJing in clubs. I'm not DJing at NBA games. I'm not doing these whole other things. And I had to think about, okay, well, what can I do to generate some kind of income? And I thought, well, I saw DJ D Nice do Instagram Live. And I'm like, what is going on? He had like 1 million people on his IG Live or something.
Get out.
But it wasn't even the amount of people that were in the room. It was like Michelle Obama was in the room, Drake was in the room, Beyonce, like all these people kind of came into the room, and it became a news story. And everyone was like, holy cow, there's potential to do stuff on social media. And then we're, all the DJs like, okay, well, let's see what it's all about. So we all started streaming online, starting with Facebook, YouTube, Instagram Live, and then Twitch, and just kind of discovering that there's all these licensing issues and all these problems that you have if you go live on Facebook, that you get shut down because you're playing music without owning the license for it. And then
Oh,
it came the same thing with Instagram. They would shut you down. And so we're all trying to figure out different ways, and that's kind of where a lot of DJs discovered Twitch. And Twitch is a gaming platform where you basically, it was all video gamers, and they're just, streaming their games, and you would watch other gamers play. But then they had this whole thing where if you're playing music, they won't shut you down, but they may mute the on demand, like the replay version of it. They may mute songs that you don't have the license for. So when I discovered that, I started going heavy on Twitch. I would go on all my social media platforms and be like, hey, you can watch me live. This is what I do. But in about 2 weeks, I'm cutting it all off and I'm going to Twitch only. So then people could see what the product was. And then like, hey, come on over to Twitch, come on over to Twitch, come on over to Twitch. And then I started making, like, I wanted to give people an incentive to come to Twitch. So I started like a game where every time I would get 100 followers, I would spin this wheel, and whatever the wheel lands on would be a song, and I would play it for them. And since my most requested song is The Percolator, I was getting tired of trying to play it every single day, being born and raised from Chicago,
time for the percolator.
Exactly. I didn't want to play it every show. So I'm like, all right, if you guys want me to play The Percolator, come over to Twitch and follow me. And when I get 100 followers, I'll play The Percolator. And then that's kind of, I gave people incentive to want to come over to a platform that some of them have never even heard of. A platform that they're like, oh, now I got to download another app to watch you. But then they're like, oh, this is fun. And then they kind of discovered that the Twitch community is so incredible, where everybody's supporting each other, everyone's showing love. It's like a different kind of social media thing where now there's friends and I'm recognizing people. Like when I was first doing my show on all platforms, I would have a lot of people on Facebook, and then I had like 3 people watching on Twitch. And then eventually it started growing, and then it flipped. It started being 50-50. And then now the Twitch users started to go higher. And then I quit all the other social media platforms, in terms of broadcasting live. And now I just go on my other socials to tell them about coming to Twitch. And it's been amazing, because Twitch is something where you can actually monetize it, where people can give you money and give you tips because they like what you're doing, or they can subscribe to you. So that was like the other reason to come to Twitch. And so I've been, finding a different avenue on ways that I can still make money without having a crowd. Now I have a virtual crowd. So that was like one of the biggest things. And you think about, like, I started that in March when COVID really hit, and it's September now. And now I'm a partner on Twitch. I had no idea how to even I had a little idea of how to do like video stuff, but like how to make it really dope. There's a program called OBS, and I knew nothing about OBS. And now I'm like tech support for DJs on OBS. So it was like, that's how I had to really, if I wanted to, I had to like pivot kind of, I still do my radio shows and stuff like that. So like, you're talking about the average day, the average week. It's all about programming for Twitch now and figuring out how to make my Twitch channels better. At the same time, I'm still doing like mixes for radio stations like 104.3 Jams. I do a radio station in LA. It's called Firelane, which is actually an HD radio station, which is on radio.com. So it's not international, it's nationally.
Yeah,
so now,
yeah.
Anybody across the country can listen to me on radio.com now. So that's like a whole another thing. So I'm doing mixes for those. B96, the street mix just got furloughed. So right now, B96, I'm taking a break from it. So that's crazy. I started B96 in 2003. So
believe me, yeah, we were talking about that before, and I wish we were recording, because it was like there was so much fire. We were talking about all the things that you've been doing, man. I mean, you had that exclusive Flipside at 5 for 11 years.
Yeah.
Like, my kids aren't even, some of my kids aren't even 11 years old. Like you've impacted generations of people, listeners, DJs with the way that you've been presenting music. And now you're just like always trying to figure out the next thing, the next thing. And I think
Yeah.
that's one of the biggest reasons why you've had the success you've had, is because you've always been that step ahead of everybody else. But what's great about you, man, is like everyone that I talk to is always like, yeah, Flipside's always trying to help us out. Flipside's the one that helped me out or hooked me up or gave me my break. And that's why I get to do what I love to do. And so just mad props to you. And to be honest, I mean, we're recording this on StreamYard. That was because of you, man. I mean, everything, you always are trying to help people out, hook them up, not just keep it for yourself. Even though, you know, you learned it first, you're always trying to give to others. And that's, you know, kudos to you for always having that type of heart. And that's why you have that success that you have, my man. It's awesome.
Yeah. I like to accredit that for a couple things. Like, I grew up with a great family. I've had parents that supported me. I've had family that was supporting me. And then like one of my favorite DJs, his name is DJ Qbert. And when I was growing up, I kind of studied what he liked to do, and what, in a time where DJs were hiding what records they were playing and like covering, like scratching out the record labels and like not showing anybody. Qbert was a guy that was like, hey, this is the record that I'm using. This is the record that I'm playing. Oh, you want to learn how to do this scratch? I do it like this. And I'm going to teach you so that you can teach me something in the future. And that's kind of like, what a lot of my mindset was, that I wanted to help a lot of people, because I wouldn't have got where I was without the help. Like I wouldn't have got where I was without someone like DJ Speed, who was also on B96, who helped me, taught me a lot about the game, and taught me a lot about, who brought me on B96 and everything like that. So, you always got to show love to the people that helped me. And they were kind of, without those guys influencing me, I wouldn't have had my influence on, like you said, generations of people.
Yeah, man. I see it from all the comments on social media, on your Twitch channel, just all the love from not only listeners and the public, but like all the other DJs. And that really is a testament to just how much people love and adore you, man. And it's not just because you spit fire from the turntables, but yeah, just your giving nature is the bomb. But, we were talking about that B96 spot, and you were doing it for 11 years, and I'm sure that helped open up a lot of doors and things of that nature. But like, what would you say is the one moment as you were grinding that you were like, oh man, I might have made it here? Like what?
Well, there's been a couple moments like that, because I still don't feel like I made it, because I always still want to achieve more. So like, but there have been a couple moments where I had to step back and be like, okay, this is awesome.
Yeah,
so like,
man.
one of the first times, every year, the B96, they would do a jingle bash and a summer bash. So I was actually on one of the summer bashes, and like, just, it was so crazy. Like you're playing in front of 20,000 people. Well, actually, no, this was like over in, it was like 40,000 people for Toyota Park. So I'm playing, and like, I have the whole crowd's going crazy, blah, 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 blah. And this was like one of the years that Mary J. Blige was on the headline. Neil was on the headline, like a bunch of really awesome people. And the next day, the newspaper printed out that Mary J. Blige and Flipside stole the show.
Oh,
and I'm like, wait a minute, is this this is the newspaper that said this? And I'm like, yo, this is in, like, that was like the headline. And I'm like, whoa, this is crazy. So that was like one of those moments where I was like, wow, man, like, I can't believe that happened. Like, I framed that. It's in my basement.
For sure, man. Anytime you're headlining with Mary J. Blige for anything, you're winning in life, baby.
But not only just to say that I'm on there, it's just to say that they said that I stole the show. So like, so it's, I can't even remember everyone else that was on there, but like, to know that those people were on the headline or on the bill as well, but then for them to say that I stole the show, that I was like, that's incredible. That's crazy. That was definitely one of those moments. And then, we have another one of those moments when like, um, I was in we with Jump Smokers, we created a song called "Now You See It" with
Yep.
Pitbull.
Uh-huh.
So when that was on, or when that song happened, Pitbull flew us out to Miami, and we shot a music video. And so like, yo, this is pretty awesome. So then we shot the video. You know, um, this is one of the first times that I'm on a video set, like a music video set. We met Pitbull, super awesome, and like, um, it was really really dope. But like to see it on MTV Jams and see my picture, like my face, and like me on MTV Jams, like that was another one of those moments where it's like, whoa, this is a whole nother level.
Man, I can't even imagine. That's got to be so crazy. But I mean, I know because I've been following you for so long. Like you've had just so many moments like that. So to hear those two, and then you also DJ'd the All-Star game when it was in Chicago, right? Can you tell us
Exactly. So I mean,
about
that's
that,
like
man?
another.
Because that's like a dream for me. And I
Yeah,
was
like
like, oh,
see, I
come
got the
on, look at
custom
those
vinyl right here.
turntables. Yes,
Right. Yo, I mean
fire.
that was another thing. That was to be able to say that this was the only All Star since Jordan was in the All Star that was
Jordan,
in Chicago.
right? Won the dunk contest in
So
'88.
and it's the same thing that I'm able to represent my city in there, represent the Chicago Bulls, represent my boss, Michelle McComas, who helped push for me to be the DJ for that, and represent the other the other three DJs that are the Chicago Bulls. I was so blessed to be a part of that, and man, just even rehearsal, like watching Common rehearse like that. I don't know if you saw the All-Star game, but that was one of the most incredible introductions. And like it's crazy because when he was practicing, he was like, no, let's do this, let's do it again, let's do it again, and like very very like meticulous. Like he wanted things a certain way, and like he made sure everything was right, and it went to show with all his hard work and him being able to do it and repeating, just practicing and practicing, like they killed that intro. If you saw, and like he only Common can freestyle everyone's like the starting lineup, like,
That's right,
so
man. That's why that
you
dude is
know,
one of the greatest rappers of all time.
like, and
Greatest.
for me to be a part of that and see that, and then like, and this was the first time where they changed the format of the game. So like
That's right.
nobody knew what to expect. They didn't know if it was going to be awesome or if it was going to be bad. So then at the same time, this is a learning experience for me because I've done regular basketball games, not something where it's like, the score zeroes out, you're winning every quarter. Like it's a whole different level of game. So it was a whole like experience. And then now I'm also working with people that I didn't know. Like someone, it was like the Milwaukee Bucks game caller was the one who was calling the game. So like now I'm working with new
Oh,
people.
wow,
So
yeah.
it's not like I was working with the regular people with the Bulls. So it's learning these personalities in less than a week, and learning there's not that
Their
much time to prepare
style,
because
yeah.
normally I get an Excel sheet of what's going to happen, and so it's like the timing is the preparation is different, and I like to be super prepared. And it was just learning somebody else's style was difficult too. But then, you know, this is what I do. So this is what, when I need to fall back on something, it's all the preparation that I've had from the Bulls games, all the preparation I've done from all these other things. I was so ready to go. So I think they were saying, the media was saying that this was the best All-Star game ever, like ever.
Yeah, man. And no, I mean, of course, we're from Chicago,
So
so
we're
we got a
biased.
bias, but yeah, the media was saying that. Every news outlet was saying that. I mean, it was an incredible show. And I think people don't understand, like, they don't understand the level of commitment and practice that you guys put in. Like, they might think, like, oh, you just go show up to a gig and you
Yeah.
just start playing music. But like, I've seen you rehearse, practice like hours and hours and hours. And even, me and your brother were like out playing video games, and there you are in your room just grinding, mixing, trying to change up styles and see if this works with this. And people, like, you make it seem so easy and flawless, but the amount of time you put in,
Yeah,
I
you know what?
know. Yeah.
Let's even talk about the All-Star Week real quick, because
Yeah.
on like it wasn't just the game. So like I was also doing appearances for the Bulls, appearances for like the All-Star. So like I did a thing with Zach LaVine in the water tower, and like they were interviewing him, but then I DJ'd that, and then after that I had to do like another NBA All-Star party, after party, that was like with all the media people. So then I had to DJ for like another 5 hours, go to sleep, wake up at like 8 a.m. so I could go to rehearsal for the All-Star game, the next morning, which was, how many hours that was. And then, try to take a nap and then do like another appearance. And then, and still prepare for the All-Star game, like doing that. And then like the day of the game, you still have to wake up at like 7 in the morning because the rehearsal was that early. So I had to wake up earlier than that.
Man.
So like it's insane. So like, you have this long rehearsal time, and then you only have like a window of, a couple hours to eat, eat.
Dude, I'm exhausted just hearing you talk about it, man.
Yeah.
I'm exhausted just hearing your schedule. And like, that's the crazy part, is like the amount of hustle, work, time that you have put in to get to this point. I just want people to understand, like, this is not something that happened overnight, or like, hey, you know what? I mean, granted, you have natural talent, but like the amount of outworking everybody else is what got you here. And
so the way I like to put it is I always say, preparation and all that is important, but it's like you need to practice, prepare, do all these things so that when your opportunity comes, you can prove why you deserve to be there. So like doing all the preparation, like even before, like I would tell DJs, don't worry about getting gigs, worry about getting good. So like,
I love that.
So, you would do like practice, rehearse, know what music is, realize why you're different, and then get good so that when you get the gig, you actually show why you deserve to have the gig.
Oh my gosh, that is maybe the best line of this whole interview. Yeah, don't worry about the gig, worry about getting better, man. That's such gold for anybody in any business. It's like, yeah, man, you can't worry about getting the job. You got to worry about yourself, getting better, being ready so that when that opportunity presents itself, that you shine in that moment. Cause it's like, no matter how many opportunities you get, if you suck, you're not, it's going to take you nowhere. So,
and that's part of building what your brand is. And that when you put your brand out there, people are going to know what to expect. So yeah, like you said, like anybody who's doing business, you have to realize that you are a brand, even if you're just a DJ, or if you're an artist, or if you're, anything, your name is your brand, and working on brand recognition and what your brand represents is super important. So like my brand, it shows what I am. So I don't talk a lot of negative stuff on my social media. I don't talk a lot of negative stuff on the air or things like that. But so my brand represents positivity and represents, talent and what I want to achieve, and positivity, and just like spreading love and stuff like that. So the people that are other brands that want to work with my brand, they understand what it is, and they're not teetered away by my views on political views or any, like things like that. Like they're like, oh, this is a brand I want to work with because of, look at all the things that he's achieving. Look what what his brand represents.
What he stands for. Yeah. What you stand for, things like that. Cause it's like, and no matter what business you're in, like you said, it's like you could be an attorney, but it's also marketing. It's also building that brand. It's whatever. You could be the most talented CPA out there, but if no one knows who you are or no one knows what you stand for, you're going to be, you're going to have no success. So that's why it's been so impressive following you and seeing you pivot during this time and really embracing that Twitch thing. And I didn't even think about that, like Facebook and Instagram shutting you down because you don't have the copyright to that music and stuff. So it's like
technically Twitch is still illegal, but they're just letting it fly.
Whoa, yes, but it'll always be something. But you're trying to figure out, okay, this doesn't work, and I think that's a big lesson for people too. Is a lot of times people are like, oh, I had an idea, it didn't work, and then they stop or they quit because they're like, oh, see, it wasn't meant to be. When in fact you're just like, all right, well, what's next? What else can I do? And then if Twitch doesn't work, I have no doubt that you're going to pivot and you're going to be like, all right, well then I'm going to work on this. And that's how I've noticed successful people continue to become successful, is that they don't, like, if the door is closed, they go through the window. Like you gotta always figure out the next step, the next thing to do. So I love that, man.
It's crazy that there's a lot of DJs that they're scared to come to Twitch. And I got lucky that I got into Twitch before all the other DJs were. So I started with a very basic layout, just simple stuff, but just wanted to get out there and just start putting stuff out. And it basically every show you see the growth of where what it was, and now how I have all these overlays and these transitions and all these crazy things. Like I have like an animated version of myself that does a head spin on like my turntable. Like I have all these crazy things, but like I had to start first to figure out what I wanted. So there, everyone was starting at the same spot, and it was kind of crazy to see the playing field level out, because there's so many people that were DJs because they thought it was cool, and they were more about the social media presence of it and of all this stuff. But when it came to the active DJing, they weren't that good, so they're not trying to go on Twitch because now you actually have to represent a DJ, and you actually have to show off the showcase of your selection. Not just the technical skills, but your selection, like the music that you're picking. Because now it's not just, oh, I'm playing for the bottle service people. Now I'm playing music. Like this is my selection. This is what music that I love, and it's been so much fun. And I think it's been such a great thing, and I've been able to see other DJs from all across the world and learn from all these people that I would never have gotten to see. And that's because I was able to pivot, and now I'm getting like all this love from people. Like my show is literally worldwide. I got people from Spain, from Ecuador, from Australia, from the Philippines, like watching Flipside at 5 on Twitch. And it's just because I put myself out there and I wanted to grow. So
yeah, man. And it is so awesome to see. And I mean, you're doing incredible things. You're always innovating. I've been watching those track battles that you're doing, which is awesome. Awesome. If you guys haven't seen that yet, you guys have to check it out. I mean, check him out on Twitch in general, but they're doing such innovative stuff with the track battles with DJ Heavy. But it's like you guys are picking like record labels or producers, and then you guys are
what's cool,
music.
What's cool about that is we're using a technology that not a lot of people know about, because one dude created it, and it's like like you can talk to him on like Reddit or something like that because he created. So we're able to have like high definition, high quality audio from different places. So like he was in Chicago, I was in New York, and like we were still able to have high quality audio that's better than Zoom and better than Skype, which is what Jimmy Kimmel and Jimmy Fallon and Kelly and Ryan are using, like Skype, and we're using things that are actually better than what they were using. So and we're not trying to like let that cat out of the bag and let people know about it just yet, because we want to really capitalize and let people see that it is possible and gives people a reason to see it.
And again, I want to reiterate, March. This dude started in March and now is already crushing it and using technology and doing things on there that like I can't even imagine trying to do. But another lesson that he just shared right there was, you know what? You cannot get to the destination you want to get to unless you first start. And it's like
Yeah.
people are always scared, like, oh, well, I'm not at this level yet, or I can't do this, so I'm not even going to start. And it's like, you know what? Nobody gets good right from the get-go. But
Yeah.
if you want to be good, you have to start. If you
Yeah.
don't start, you're never going to get good at anything.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah. I
love
mean,
that,
yeah,
man.
like, like the whole thing about, like me saying get good before you get the gigs. It's, it's, it's similar too, because, you still have to start. So like,
Yep.
so it's, we didn't know what Twitch was going to end up being.
Uh-huh.
So at the same time, I just wanted to get good at being at Twitch,
Mhm.
doing like this stuff. So that's was me doing it. And, my first level was still better than what other people were doing. So
Yeah.
like people would just have one camera or whatever. And then I figured out a way to have my side camera, an overhead camera, the chat, like all these other things. So my first time out there was still really good, but just nowhere near where I'm at now. So
Yeah.
like, and you know what? And like you said, since March, I figured it out. But like, that was all through YouTube University. So,
YouTube University. I love it.
everything that I learned, I didn't really have an outlet of my friends that were doing the same things. So I'm like, all right, well, you can find out anything on YouTube. So then I just started watching YouTube videos and like how to use OBS, how to, why things are working right. I have a Mac computer that I use for music production, and it's a beast. It's like a $10,000 computer essentially. And like, it's amazing for production. But what I didn't know is that it's not amazing for video. So,
Huh. Really? I would not have thought that. Wow.
because you need like a proper graphics card.
Mhm.
So my Mac Pro, which was like the tower garbage can one, like I couldn't figure out why it was, and like everyone online was like, oh, you need a graphics card, you need this. I'm like, oh shoot, like, oh, why do I have such an awesome computer? Why can't I do it? So I had to end up buying a PC. And that's what like made my production go to a whole nother level. So I invested in myself, not knowing if how much Twitch was going to pay out, but like this was something that I wanted to do. And then if it ended up, well, let's say everything goes back to normal with, COVID's gone, we're DJing crowds, doing all this stuff. I could technically take my PC with me as well, because I bought a laptop, and stream live like my club event.
Yeah.
So then I could do like a whole show. So now it's like thinking ahead of like, okay, if I'm investing in this, is it going to pay me back? Well, it's paying me back with my Twitch earnings, which I'm doing,
Yep.
all right with. And then it can pay me back in the future if I'm trying to do, broadcasting my shows. Because now I could charge a little more and be like, yo, do you want me to do the broadcast on your site or on your Facebook, or your, Twitch channel or something like that? So now if you want me to do that, you got to pay me X more. And now I can, put the whole club event
That's
online.
incredible. See, look, and it all started with just like one idea, and then you built it onto something else and onto something else, and now you have this skill forever, and you can use it to monetize if you want. You can use it to build your brand. But it all started because you're like, all right, well, what do I need to figure out next, dude? I love that, man. That was such fire tips right there. But
I'm sorry, I didn't want to
yeah,
interrupt you,
no,
but
man.
the other
I
thing
love
is
it.
that like, because of the knowledge that I gained from this, I'm getting hit up by a lot of the major like DJs asking me questions. So now I'm building these relationships with, star DJs that don't know about this world. And now they're coming to me because, I might not been like, these guys are awesome DJs that I might not have like a skill level up to their part or whatever, but when they don't have any of this video knowledge, that now I can bring that to them. So now I'm building these relationships with like someone like DJ Z Trip or, DJ Homicide, who is like, Sugar Ray's DJ, or other NBA DJs, and like all these other DJs that are just learning
Mm-hmm.
this side of it because they've never had to do it. So now I'm building all these relationships that I would have gotten without this skill set.
Man, so much information there. It is so true, man. It's like you're learning this new skill set. You had to pivot, and now it's opening up other doors that you didn't even think about when you did it. All you thought about was, all right, I'm going to focus on getting good at Twitch. And I don't know what it's going to do, but all I'm focusing on is getting better for myself. I'm going to better myself in another avenue. And now you're thinking like, oh my gosh, I can do this. I can do this. People are reaching out to me. Young's reaching out to me, asking me tips on how to make the podcast better, all of that. And of course, being the person that you are, always giving and helping out. So I'm so glad to hear that, man. But I wanted to go back. I know we have limited time because I know you got a busy schedule as well. But I wanted to go back to that. So you were doing that Flipside at 5. Of course, you've been DJing NBA games. Like what? And then you were with Jump Smokers, producing tracks, traveling. You did this stuff with Pitbull and a bunch of other celebrities. Like, where is the craziest place that you actually either performed or produced a gig, or were with Jump Smokers? Like, where were you just like, oh my gosh, this is crazy? Because I know you've traveled the whole world.
Yeah.
So yeah, share that, please.
So one of the coolest experiences that I had was I got to DJ in the Philippines at the first ever outdoor EDM festival. So I was on the bill. It was Jump Smokers, and they flew us out there. It was us, Afrojack, Cedric Gervais, Dev, so many Cobra Starship, so many other people that were like incredible DJs. So what they did is they had in the parking lot of Mall of Asia, they had like a big stage set up. So it was an outdoor festival. They had local Filipino bands open, and then it transitioned to the EDM festival. So this was in front of about 100,000 people.
100,000 people.
Yeah. So
in a parking lot outside, that's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, well, let's look at like Woodfield Mall.
Yeah.
Right? So the parking lot of Woodfield Mall is huge.
That's true. That's true.
You know, like
people there. That's man.
Yeah. So it was like that. And what was cool is we were the first act of the EDM side of it. So it was packed already because they had their bands playing and whatever. So they did this whole transition from the local bands to the EDM part where they had fireworks and like all this pyro and like a special light show, a special video with like a countdown. So it looked like that was our stuff.
Did you guys do the first act? That's awesome.
So it looked like we planned the fireworks. We planned like we were awesome, and we had like an hour set, man. So it was insane. We were just playing all of our remixes. Just played a lot of like hits and bangers, and I got perform, and it was amazing. Roman was with me, and he was on the mic. We did interviews like prior to that. Like that was so insane to see that many people out there and just performing in front of them. And it was insane. Like we have a video of it on YouTube, I believe. So definitely something to check out. But yes,
really,
it was.
What would they search? Jump Smokers in the Philippines?
It was on Jump Smokers website or Jump Smokers. I'm sorry, Jump Smokers YouTube page. So, that was probably one of the best experiences that I've had. That was insane. And we had another experience that was actually in the Philippines that was really dope too, where Nokia flew us out because they were debuting their new like phone that was coming out. And so we did this launch party for them. It was outdoor in I forgot the name of the mall, but it was outdoor, and they had this whole stage that was rigged up where it kind of looked like the video game Cubert with the cubes stacked up, and the DJ booth was in that. and like they had the whole stage like lit up, and it was basically, we were the headliners, so it was just another crazy thing. And they had like a building to the right of us, where this was one of the first times that they started using projection mapping. So I don't know if you know what that is, but basically they use the building as like the outline,
Oh,
and
yeah, yeah.
then they have like a projector that projects onto it. But with the way that it's mapped out, it makes the building like look like it's falling down, or like it has all these different like visuals that just look
Uh-huh.
incredible. I think this was maybe like a month or two after Dead Mouse was the first one to do it ever.
Wow.
So like we gave them like one of our songs, and they did a whole video projection map to the song on the building.
That's
So we're
crazy.
just like we're like right before we're going on, we're watching this and like, holy cow, this is incredible. But
Man.
that was one of the other like things that I'll never forget. That was so cool. And then like, because I had family that lived in the Philippines, they came out, and they didn't no idea that like where I was in terms of, oh yeah, he's
Yeah,
a DJ.
man.
But then they're like,
Uh-huh.
yo, what are you doing? You're on this thing. Like, yo,
That's
it was
great.
cool. So I got to see my family there, and they all got to hang out. So it was awesome.
That's that's awesome, man. So I know. Okay, so we're gonna go and pivot. That's such an incredible story. But I know you've mixed and you've worked with and you produced so many artists like Beyonce, Selena Gomez. Of course, we talked about Pitbull, Katy Perry, all these stars. So I'm gonna put you on the spot a little bit here. I'm gonna
Okay.
say like, so first, I'll give you an easy one. Like, who did you meet that you were like, holy cow, that person is so much cooler than I thought, or that person is one of the coolest people that I've met in person?
Yeah, so that is an easy answer, because it's Pitbull. Because
Really?
he's actually one of the nicest dudes in the world, and you could
Mr.
tell
Worldwide, huh?
Mr. Worldwide, really, because he actually surrounds himself with good people too. So there's like anybody who's on tour with him, they're all good people too. They all share the same kind of energy. And like, when we were on tour with him, he was like, we would see him like we'd be coming off stage right before he'd be coming on, because he's the one who brought. So we got to start this whole thing. So
Yeah, dude, I love it. I want to hear the whole story. I want to hear the whole
um, so I mean, Pitbull, the first time we've known each other from radio, from me being on the radio, and when we did the Honor Rebel song with Pitbull, Now You See It, he was like, man, this beat is amazing. Like, who are these guys? And then when he flew us out, he's like, oh, it's you guys. Like I know you guys, So
thing.
then,
Uh-huh.
because we were under Jump Smokers, so he didn't really know that Jump Smokers was Flipside, and another dude named Tony Arzadon, who I learned how to do my production with. We did the music together with Tony and I. And he was like, wow, you guys, this is so crazy. We love it. And then when we met in person, like, he was just, super nice. That later on he's like, we gotta get you to do remixes. And all of our Pitbull like remixes were like legendary, where like Timber was super big. Actually, International Love in specific was the one where he really like, it blew his mind, where he told us that that record was doing just okay. But
Mhm.
then when our remix came out, it took it to another level, and it ended up being like a top 10 record. And
Wow.
and to this day, anytime he performs that song, he ends with our version, with our remix. So
Really?
yeah, so that's how much he liked it. And then he liked it so much, like he paid us for the remix and everything like that. But then he liked it so much, he threw more money at us because it was so awesome. Like
Get
he's
out
like,
of
yo,
here.
he's like, yo, this
Really?
this is like, this remix is doing so well. We're just gonna cut you a check for some more stuff. I'm like,
No way. Wow.
so
Yeah,
like,
that's
you know,
crazy.
yeah. So Pitbull's that kind of dude. And when we're on tour with him, all the remixes made sense. Like he loved all the remixes, so that when it came time to bring a DJ, he's like, I want a DJ to go on before we perform. It was a no-brainer for him to bring us on. So he's like, yo, you guys got to come on tour with us because I don't want the crowd to sit down in between acts. I want them to still feel like it's a party. So we want you to come on. And then by the time I get on, they're already at a high level. Yeah. And that's like the whole reasoning why he wanted that. He didn't want to like have to warm the crowd up.
Yeah.
Like on his first song. He wanted to be like ready to go. So he brought us on tour, and there were times where we'd be on tour and we'd be passing each other, and he'd be like, "Hey, everything okay? Are you good? You got your water, you got your food and your drinks and your
wow, really looking out like that, huh?"
I'm like, dude, are you okay? you're about to go on and kill the crowd, like but he's always checking out everything okay. Did your gear get set up? Everything like. Checking up on us, we're the openers, we're the we're the DJs, and so he's out there looking out for us. And so
that's incredible. I would not have thought that. Although I've literally only heard positive things about Pitbull, but like through I know a person who knows a person, but to hear it firsthand like that, that's crazy.
Yeah.
And that's the dude who's like, putting on the show. And sometimes I would imagine some stars are like, whoa, I don't want people taken away from my shine. So I'm not going to put on people that have all this talent or whatever. But he just wanted whatever's best for the fans, for his fans. So he like wanted the whole thing to be great. He doesn't care who's looking good out there. So that's incredible, man. That was a good one. All right, man. So now you know what's coming. So if you're telling me who the coolest person you met in person is, who was the one person that when you met for the first time, either you were like, they threw you off because they're not like who they thought they were, or just like, you're like, man, I never want to meet this person again.
All right. So this was the situation. So I'm in New York, and I'm at this dude's birthday party, and he's like a big, a lot of people in the industry are there, and so there's a ton of DJs, a lot of a lot of musicians, music artists, and stuff like that are there, and I meet this guy, and he's like, actually, the artist rep comes up to me, yo, Flipside, you got to meet Machine Gun Kelly. I'm like, cool, yeah, I was playing his record, I played his record on the air. And then, so he's like, all right, cool. Let me introduce you. He's like, hey, he's like, yo, what's up, MGK? This is DJ Flipside. He plays your records on B96 in Chicago. And he's like, yeah, what's up, man? I love the new record. It's really, really cool, man. It's nice to meet you. He says to me, pardon my language, I don't care. I'm just trying to fuck bitches.
No, come on.
Like, that's all he said to me. After the rep and myself told him that I'm supporting his record on the air, he said that's all he said to me. Like,
wow, that, I mean, like, yeah, man, everybody's,
I'm like, well, okay, thing, dude, who are you exactly. to be an artist, to tell somebody who's playing your record on the radio,
right,
that you don't care about them?
Yeah,
it's not like if it's Jay-Z. Oh, actually, you know what? I met Jay-Z, and Jay-Z wasn't even like that.
That's what
either.
I'm saying.
Jay-Z,
you would not. You're not going to get to that status treating people that way, and that's why he is only good Kelly. But
that's why he's an actor now.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. I was like, when was the last time I heard a song from that dude? But
actually, I think he put out like a country album, like something like that. Because maybe the hip hop people don't mess with him anymore. Right?
Because hopefully he learned his lesson. He'll treat those country DJs a little bit better. But hey, man, this has been flying by. And I'm so excited you're on. I know you got to get going soon, but I wanted to ask you like one or two more questions. And then I promise everybody we're going to do this again. So please show your love and support for this episode so that we can have Flipside come back. But, you've been doing this for a long time. You've been giving advice. You've been the mentor. You've been the mentee. Like, either if it was you starting over or somebody that's starting up right now, like I know we gave already the golden nugget of like, hey, don't worry about the gig, get
Yeah.
better. But
Yeah.
like, what else would you recommend like an up and coming DJ or even yourself, like maybe 10, 15 years ago when you were getting started?
I mean, there's always a lot of things, but like I feel like that I've been lucky that I've done a lot of things, you know, not necessarily right, but like I've
And don't be
taken I've
humble now, man. We
no.
already wrote off all your accolades. Yeah.
So, but I mean, yeah, there's always room for improvement. I think the just learning how to network and really following up, because like I've met a lot of people and got traded info, traded numbers and stuff like that, but then I never called them back, or not that I didn't call them back. I didn't reach out and be like, hey, remember when we met? Let's see if we can do something. Like I would just keep the number, like, yeah, I got Timbaland's number, but then I like never called them. Like, I feel like
Interesting.
it's things like that where like, okay, you get the contact info, you get the business card, but then following up and like reaching out and then actually like doing something about it. Like I feel
Yeah.
like I probably had a lot of opportunities where I got people's info that I probably should have just reached out to them again.
Interesting. Yeah, man.
Where
And that's like a life and any business advice. It's like all the money is in the follow up. All the money is in like meeting people, networking, like connecting people with other people. And
yeah
now we're seeing you do that at such a high level, like educating people about video stuff and Twitch and all of these things. But that's such great advice, because even for me doing real estate, it's like, yeah, people are like, hey, we're looking to sell, and then I get their info and then I never follow up, and then that's just opportunities that are lost
exactly.
because you're not following up and you're not networking, and you're just so caught up in like either what you're doing at the moment or things like that. But you got to realize, like, if you're not following up, if you're not building and cultivating those relationships, it's gonna slow down or it's gonna die out. So that's
Yeah.
huge, man. I
And
love
I mean,
that.
there's like a difference of like, reaching out and asking for something as opposed to just talking to someone. Like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, give me this, or tell me how to do this. Like, that's the other thing that kind of bothers me when there's like people would ask me things that are readily available on the internet, where, it's like basic stuff.
Uh-huh.
Like
Yeah.
that's I'll help you out with some of the trickier stuff, or like but like
But
some
if
of the
you're not
stuff,
putting in
like,
the effort, yeah, why
yeah,
do you want me to put in the effort? You're not even putting in any effort. And so
exactly.
please, guys, that's another bit of advice that I would give, especially if you're reaching out to somebody that you're trying to get information from or that you look up to or you want to connect with. Don't start out the conversation asking them for favors. Go to them, try to provide value some way, and then from there maybe they'll help you out. But if you're expecting people to just do things for you, hand things to you, especially people that have already made it, like they have no reason other than like they either feel bad for you or they just had a moment of kindness, but like, they are busy because they've already done it. So do not just go up to people and ask them for things. Always try to provide value. And if you saw anything from this conversation, you see that Flipside was giving dap to his mentors or the people like DJ Kubert from before who was providing him info, and he was like, yeah, maybe you'll be able to teach me something later on. Always come from value and service, and that's always going to be a great tip. So I love that, man. I
Yeah,
love
and
it.
what's crazy right now is how accessible people are, like on social media. So like
Yeah.
sending somebody DMs, a lot of people, they do look at it depending on the amount of DMs they get. But so if you're sending somebody a message on social media, like don't, and you've never met them and you don't have a relationship with it, don't start off with, you know, hey, how do you do this, or like that. It's like, hey, I love this, or I appreciate that you're doing this, and if you can point me in the right direction, and I'll look it up or something like that. You know, something on those terms, as opposed to always being like, hey, can you give me the, you know, this or blah, 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 blah. You know, like there's different, especially if you don't have a relationship with these people, you know, it's always good to start the relationship. Not like you said, not asking for something, but like at least, hey, do your research on the person. Like, oh, I
Yeah,
love
yeah.
how in episode this and this and this you did this, or like in this episode, you know, or whatever. Or if you're talking to an artist, you know, you're showing them love, appreciation for the things that they've done before you even, not even in the same like
Exactly.
the same sentence. Just send
Right.
that first, and then if they
Exactly.
reply, then you know, start a
Then
conversation, start a
maybe.
dialogue, and then, you know, build that rapport before you ask them how to do something.
For sure, man. That's all of the people that I've ever wanted to have a relationship with or have them mentor me. It's always like, hey, first, you got to give them props because everyone's human and they want to know that you actually are following them, that you are listening to what they're doing. And so you always got to be like, and more specific, the better. Like, hey, on this track, I loved how you did this. Uh, and then they almost feel obligated, like, oh man, this person is a legit fan or
Yeah.
really is interested in me and what I'm doing. So I know when people are specific about things that I'm doing, I feel more obligated to respond back to them and at least thank them and then see how I can help. So that was a money tip as well. So yeah, man. All right. Holy cow. It's already been almost an hour. So I don't want to leave without having people find out where they can find you. I know they can find you on Twitch, but like your handles, your social
Yeah,
media,
for
all of
sure.
that.
Okay, so DJ Flipside 33. That's like the main thing. So like Instagram's DJ Flipside 33, Twitch is DJ Flipside 33, Facebook, YouTube. So the like I keep it all uniform. The only thing is Twitter is DJ Flipside 33, except my account just got hacked. So
Oh no.
I don't have access to it right now. So it sucks because it's verified. Like it's it's like legit, and I've been
Uh-huh.
trying to send messages to Twitter for like the past 2 months, and they can't do it. They won't do anything about it right now.
Wow,
So
really?
yeah,
No,
because
no.
whoever hacked it, they changed my passwords, they changed my phone number, so they like
No
they changed
way.
the
So you can't
email,
bear yeah,
so I
yeah.
can't like verify that it's me. So I'm trying to find someone I could talk to about making that happen, but it's not been good. So I
Yeah.
have, luckily I was able to get DJ Flipside on
Oh,
Twitter,
wow. Yeah,
which
yeah,
is weird. But
yeah.
I so I got it, but I'm not using it until I
Yeah,
actually know if I can still get DJ Flipside 33 back.
yeah,
But
and that
yeah,
yeah.
it's I can't believe
So
that.
not as
So
much on Twitter, but find him
yeah,
everywhere else. DJ
yeah,
Flipside 33,
yeah. I check
Instagram,
the Instagram the
Facebook.
most.
Yeah, Instagram, and then remember, sign up on Twitch. They every day. Can you give them a
Monday through
breakdown of like a
Friday.
schedule? Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
sorry. Monday through
yeah.
Friday. Do you have like a theme per day or are you just
Yes.
going on there?
So for sure,
Yeah, elaborate on that.
Monday through Friday, it's 5 p.m. Central until I feel like it, which is usually about 2 hours. But sometimes
Wow.
it would be a little less or it could be a little more. And Mondays are EDM Mondays for every damn Monday. Which is basically EDM music. Tuesday is classic hip hop and R&B. Wednesday is way back Wednesdays, which is essentially all throwback dance music. Thursday is Throwback Thursday, so it's throwbacks of all kinds. So it could be pop music, it could be hip hop, it could be rap, or it could be like dance. It could be rock and roll. It could be, you know, from Britney to, you know, Kashmir or whatever.
Oh
So
my
like it could
gosh.
be anything. And then Fridays just feel good Fridays. So weather permitting, I try to do Fridays on location and like try to go somewhere and broadcast live from there. And so it's Feel Good Friday. So it's just like feel good music of any era. Could be super old, it could be super new, whatever just puts on a good vibe. So that's been a lot of fun. And then sometimes I'll do and then this past Wednesday was a track battle. So it'll be
Yes.
every 2 weeks we'll do a new track battle on Wednesdays.
You
So
guys
that's
have to check that out. I mean, first, you got to check him out all the time. The legitimately the dopest DJ on the planet, and his music is so eclectic, as you can hear from even the artists he just named off. But like, and now that he was mentioning those things, I have so many other questions that I want to ask him, but I want to be respectful of the time. And so we're going to definitely have him on again, but
yeah.
you got to check him out on Twitch. And then, you know what? I have always been admiring the shirt this whole time. Where can
Yes.
they find the merchandise for
So
Flipside?
DJFlipside.com is my actual website. If you go to DJFlipside.com/shop, I have shirts that you can get there. So this is one of my shirts that my girlfriend Rose actually designed this logo with the star and my mohawk and all that.
That's
So
right.
super
Fire.
dope. Shout out to Rose.
Yes,
And
super talented Rose.
yeah, so she designed this, and then yeah, you can go there. And then I also have another link where you can get like hats, because it's a different company. So that's like djflipside.live, and I have like, you can get hats there, and then you could donate money to the DJ Flipside cause of trying to spend more money on Twitch, essentially.
That's right. Hey, it's not cheap putting on that production, man. That is a fire production. So
yeah.
you guys, you got to check him out. One of my oldest and dearest friends. I am so honored to have him on. Thank you, my man, for being our guest. I can't wait to have you on again. And you guys heard it. DJ Flipside 33 on all social media, except maybe Twitter.
Twitter.
So if you see crazy messages on Twitter, now you know the backstory. And then check out his website, djflipside.com. And from there, you can find that fire shirt and other merchandise and just what's going on with his schedule and things like that. So thanks again, my man, for spending the hour with us. Greatly appreciate you, brother.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate you, man. I wish you the best of luck on this podcast. But I also want to give everybody a quick mention that Young is definitely the one who sold my house. So we can't forget that he went above and beyond for me, because I was in New York at the time, and he helped me go to my house when I wasn't there, and helped me do a bunch of things, like, when the sump pump broke, and all these other open house things, and like, he went above and beyond. So definitely I recommend Young, not just because he's my homie, but because he did a phenomenal job as my realtor as well.
Brother, thank you, man. You're making me blush. You're making me blush. So before the love fest gets too intense for everybody out there, we're going to just thank everybody for checking in, for listening, for watching. We appreciate you guys. If you find value in this, or you know anybody who's just a raving fan of DJ Flipside and they want to hear some great stories, please share this on your social media. Share the link. Please subscribe, comment, review. If you guys comment about this particular episode, please mention it, and we will pick out one of the best reviews, and we'll send you some DJ Flipside merchandise on us as well. So Thanks again for watching, guys. Appreciate everybody, and we will see you guys next week on the Chicago Business Review. Peace.